Hey, this is Kevin Douglas playing some Legacy. I'm actually playing Slivers. Not a deck I play often. It's probably a pretty old list. Just one I kind of had in my collection, so felt like kind of having a little bit of fun. I think that this is a keepable hand. We don't have a card to pitch with Force of Will, but we do have a couple land and some like Sliver Lords. I'm gonna go ahead and keep. So if we're playing like a grindier, like fair deck, then I think we're doing all right. If we're playing a combo deck, which Chrome Mox tells me we probably are, then we might be in a little bit of trouble. And if we are playing something that can power out like a Blood Moon or Magus of the Moon, then we're in big trouble. So Chrome Mox and Light and Tutor is kind of interesting. Savannah Lions. So that's it's an aggressive start for them. Now we actually have a Force of Will, which is pretty good. I think we run out our. We could run out our City of Brass, and maybe hide what we're playing. If we run out Cavern of Souls or Sliver Hive, they're gonna know what we're playing. I don't necessarily know if that matters though, so I think I'll run out Sliver Hive. And then next turn, hopefully start powering out some Slivers. We're not gonna be able to block for a while, but as long as they're only pinging in for 2 a turn, then we're not in like a huge rush. But it would be nice to get all these Slivers to kind of hang around. 3/3 is a lot better than a 2/2. You know, if they're running these kinds of creatures, probably at least 2 toughness. So it's a lot better if you can just clear their creatures instead of having to trade for them. They have 2 white available. And Winter Orb. I'm going to want to Force of Will that. I'm going to need my mana. And Winter Orb's just going to be a big pain in my butt. I'm going to lead out with a Mutavault here. And just start running out some of these Slivers. So you know what? So it's been so long that I kind of forgot that these give themselves +1/+1. I'm so used to playing Merfolk, where the Merfolk Lords only give other Merfolk +1/+1. So these are actually already 2/2s. So we really just need 2 of them out to be able to start getting bigger than like Savannah Lion. Looks like opponent's stuck on mana a little bit. They just have this Chrome Mox and Plains, 3 cards in hand, and it looks like they're not playing their land drop for this turn. Dryad Militant's fine. So we're playing some kind of like stompy, like Hate Bears kind of deck, it looks like. So it's kind of a jank against jank. We did draw a sliver that we can cast this turn along with one of these other slivers. So we're gonna go ahead and name Slivers for our cavern. Cast our Sinew Sliver. Oh, where's white? There we go. And then Gale Rider. And if they really are kind of like a stompy type deck, I'm feeling pretty comfortable being on Slivers. You know, unless they have lots and lots of removal, our board is probably going to be better than their board, given enough time. So we will use Path to Exile. We actually don't run anything that we can grab with it, so that's a very good removal spell for them. And, you know, if they attack in here with both creatures, I'm fine just trading right now. Taking 4 damage to keep flying around is fine. And if we're able to find another 2 CMC Sliver, then we can potentially cast both of them this next turn. What we did was we found another Mutavault, so now what we can do is cast Muscle Sliver and hold up Mutavault. And then it's going to be a 3/3. So if they do try to attack, then we can potentially activate a Mutavault and grab one of their creatures. So another Swords to Plowshares. They've got quite a bit of removal. So Path to Exile, Swords to Plowshares, Swords to Plowshares. Down to 2 cards, just 2 mana. We've got the Mutavaults. So I think if they attack in here, I might be okay trading. I think that we're also at a healthy enough life total that I just might wait. And see what we draw one turn. Another Mutavault. So actually I would have been happy trading a Mutavault that last turn. And so make sure we activate one of our and I guess I didn't really need to do that. I guess I could have left out both Mutavaults. Because I could have tapped Sliver Hive or Cavern Souls to activate that Mutavault. So we'll go ahead and pass. We'll leave out this Mutavault as a blocker. We have plenty of mana, so we don't mind losing it. So here come the creatures. So they're going to potentially leave a blocker back. They're going to put us down to 7. We could potentially attack in for 7 next turn. I think I'm okay trading here. Just buys us, you know, that many more turns. I don't know that we're like in a huge rush. So here's another Swords to Plowshares. Guess I'll tap that for mana. So they're still stuck on 2 land. We should start drawing creatures here at some point. Cittery Brass. Go ahead and play Muscle Sliver. And I think I like... Well, we're not going to be able to activate Mutavault to block next turn if we just attack in here. But I'll be 5, put him down to 11. Next turn, we'll be able to swing for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think we attack in here. We can be aggressive. And they can't block because we have flying. So they'll probably attack in next turn. We will go down to 5. And then depending on if they're able to cast anything, that'll tell us whether we need to, leave anything back. I don't know, like, if they would have any hasty creatures or if they're playing any buffs or anything like that. So, having only 4 power on the board. Oh, so there's Winter Orb. But I think that's still fine. We'll just untap a Mutavault here. Hibernation Sliver. I think that's fine. We'll still just attack in. We do have Mutavault up. We could trade for one of their creatures. But next turn we also have 7 damage on board. And so if they don't have any removal, or if they tap out here, then I think we'll just win with flying, because they can't block. So I think we just need to make sure that we don't... I mean, we can't activate Mutavault this turn, because City Brass is going to deal us 1 damage. And we don't have enough to crack back for lethal next turn if we... unless we like draw an upright land, because we're only going to get to untap 1 land with Winter Orb. So I think we just take our 4 damage here. Untap something that we can activate Mutavault with. Swinging for 7 in the air. And we'll just kind of see if our opponent's able to do anything to stop us from executing that plan. So, gonna untap Cavern here. So there's Crystalline Sliver. We could be patient, cast Crystalline Sliver, then we know that we're not going to meet any removal. So if we go into attack, they can't remove Gale Rider Sliver, and then get a couple of our creatures that way. Yeah, I think I'm fine doing that. And this is going to be a 3/3, so I'm just going to swing in with 1 creature here, just in case something crazy happens and I need to block 2 creatures. It might be like being conservative for no reason, but I really have no idea like what they're playing in their deck. It's kind of like a brew, so I think playing it safe is fine. Look, Athena is actually, I like that as a card. You know, this aggressive, low to the ground strategy, it seems fine. But it's not what they need here to beat us, so I think that we're good to just win next turn. So we'll untap the Cavern again. Say okay. I mean, we have Shroud, so I was going to activate Mutavault and swing it with everybody. And now they have to basically remove 2 creatures. Yeah, so we won that game. Again, this is a list I haven't played in a long time. Not even really sure what our sideboard looks like. So Hunter Sliver, Provoke could be good. Meddling Mage, I don't know enough about their deck to know like really to what I would name. Maybe Winter Orb. That was kind of annoying. Hibernation Sliver wasn't like amazing. Harmonic Sliver seems fine, and Siphon Sliver seems fine. And I mean that Provoke also is kind of fine. Force of Will, other than that Winter Orb being annoying, I don't know that like we really need to muck up our deck with Force of Will here. They're not doing anything like too unfair. So unless we see like a Silver Bullet this game that just completely shuts us down, I think I'm fine taking those out. I mean, honestly, there's not so much blue in here that Force of Will is like super great anyway. And we have no way of actually casting the card. So I'm going to go ahead and submit deck there. But, I mean, against a deck that runs a bunch of small creatures, Provoke seems good. Lifelink is good when you're in this kind of like grindy creatures versus creatures matchup. Especially when your creatures have the potential to get a lot bigger. I'm going to keep here, even though I only have one land. I do with the Aether Vial. And Aether Vial on 2 is going to get us the ability to cast most of our creatures. They're going to leave a Plains up. They didn't see Aether Vial last game, so hopefully they're not expecting it. But we did grab another Cavern of Souls, which is very good. Go ahead and name Sliver here. I used to cast an Aether Vial. Say go. And I think I'm going to try to get a Crystalline Sliver out first. Unless they have any kind of like board sweeps, which would kind of surprise me considering how they are in aggro creature deck. I think a lot of the removal is just going to be like that targeted Swords of Plowshares, Path to Exile. Thalia is not very good against us because everything else that's in our hand, in fact, most of what's in our deck are creatures now. So this is another land, so this is really good. We're going to be able to get ahead on board here pretty quick by playing Harmonic Sliver and another Sliver next turn. So go ahead and name Sliver again. And we're going to want to cast this Crystalline Sliver. Just protects all of our dudes. Like I said, it looks like most of the removal is this like targeted type removal that's going to be completely blanked by Crystalline Sliver. Kind of came down with a cold the last day or two. Trying to keep up my commitment for 2018 of posting at least a video or two every day. So it is a little bit harder on my voice with the cold, but hasn't been too bad. Definitely don't want to block here. First strike, we won't even trade. So we got 3 mana. Caracas, they can do some shenanigans with Thalia with Caracas. Stoneforge Mystic is interesting. But as long as it's like a GT or something, then we're fine. Batterskull's a little more annoying, but even then, hopefully we can find some flying or some other sort of like evasive. Yeah, so it is Batterskull. So, there's Gilra, so there's our evasion. So with Shroud, Batterskull, I think it's going to be too slow with our Muscle Slivers. I mean, Harmonic Sliver, that's very good. So I think we're going to hang on to Harmonic Sliver, wait for them to put in the I mean, in fact, we don't even need to because I mean, what are they going to do? They're either not going to play Batterskull because they see Harmonic Sliver and realize we're probably going to cast more Slivers, or they cast it and then any Sliver we cast next turn is still going to be a removal spell for that. So I think we're just in a really good spot here. But I do like getting Gale Rider Sliver into play, so I think we will kind of hide that Harmonic Sliver. And then just put in another Muscle Sliver and a Predatory Sliver. I think it's fine to just Aether Vial the Predatory Sliver in right now. We don't have to wait to do it as like a combat trick because they can't block. They can't remove anything because we have Shroud. And I want to be surprised to see if they just scoop right here, because even putting a Batterskull down next turn, we're going to be swinging in for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13, which I guess doesn't kill them, but I mean with Shroud and flying, no way to remove our creatures probably. I think even a Batterskull is just going to be too slow. But I could be wrong. You know, maybe they're running some sort of mass removal. It was kind of funny. I thought that this was you know, like a brew. When I saw Savannah Lions, I'm not used to seeing that card in Legacy, but it looks like this just might be more of like a mix of like Death and Taxes and like a Stoneford Mystic. I don't know if they call those decks like Stoneblade or whatever in Legacy. I think we do want to use. You know, I don't think we actually do, because if the game does go long for some reason, so I think we play Harmonic Sliver, then we can Aether Vial and a Crystalline Sliver to destroy something if we need to. I mean, we could attack first. I think a Lord would have been a good draw here, because I think it would have given us lethal. Oh, that's funny. So, yeah, we'll just use this right now. And we could put in a Hibernation Sliver. So I wasn't thinking about the fact that we were going to have to destroy our own Aether Vial, but that's fine. The Vial's really given us its benefit at 3 mana and just 1 card in hand. There's really not much use we're going to get out of the Vial now anyway. So we'll go ahead and swing in here. So they're going to go ahead and probably put in that Batterskull. What's interesting with Hibernation Sliver is that even if they do attack in with the Batterskull, I can always bounce my blocker back to my hand and prevent any life gain. So it actually kind of seems like the Slivers deck lines up pretty well against this, you know, whatever this deck is, Death and Taxes or Stoneblade. maybe a bit of a brew, mixes some elements from both. But I'm just noticing a lot of synergies in the slivers that line up very well against what I'm seeing, you know, across the table. Yeah, so there's the concession. Kind of like I said, I think given our board state, there's not a whole lot the opponent could have done. So now I'm going to head to the internet and try to find out what decks play Savannah Alliance and Stoneforge Mystic to see if maybe I can educate myself and find out what kind of archetype that is.